I just sent my dad off and I said, I love you. I am gonna be 29 years old this year. It's 2025. I can count the number of times I've said I love you to my dad with these 10 fingers because I just started saying it last year. While your parents are still alive, just let them know that you love them. Now I know that this does not apply to everyone, that some of you have not had the privilege to have parents, or some of you have really broken relationships with your father or your parents and you cut the connection off, and that's totally fine. But for those of you that you have a connection with your father and you are talking with him, you kind of want to say that you love him, but you don't know how because you've never said it, you've never exchanged those words with him. I have some actionable steps for you. So the first thing that I did was I accepted that whatever happened between me and my dad over all these years, over the years of growing up, things like he was never there for me. He was always at home, but he was never there for me. I never really had a father figure, and when some discipline was needed, he would step in and be really hard on me. So I remember this time where I was about 13 and I didn't want to go somewhere for school. I was a bad kid. He just took me and he gave me a slap and he threw me on the sofa. I flew 2 meters. That really scarred me. that was really scary. It did kind of instill a respect, but it was the wrong kind of respect. I would never treat my kids in the future that way. I do not want to raise my kids in that way. Trying to break this generational trauma. First actionable step would be to accept that your dad grew up in different circumstances, that perhaps he didn't know how to express love, and perhaps he received this dysfunctional love from his parents in that way. And so this is what got passed down to him, and he didn't really do internal work or didn't have the opportunity to do it. So it is to just accept whatever it is that happened and to trust that you are the way you are because of whatever happened till this day. The second step would be to do internal work yourself. You would have to connect this with step number 1 and to say it's okay, whatever happened, it's okay that it happened. I think after that, the more I worked on myself, the easier it became for me to utter the words, and yeah, it has been such a long journey for me to accept and to finally utter those words. This work of accepting what your dad did and this internal work might take years. I'm not saying it's gonna work tomorrow. I'm not saying it's gonna work in a week or a month. It might take years. I am 29 this year. It took me 28 years to say it for the first time to him. And last but not least, the third and final step would be to say it during our conversation. So what I've heard from a video online, which I saw on YouTube, I can't remember who it was, but it was definitely a lady, and she said that she talked with her mom on this part about it, and she said that at the end of the conversation they were talking on the phone and she asked, "Mom, why don't we say I love you?" And so she kind of did this soft introduction instead of just spluttering it out. I kind of did the spluttering out way. So at the end of the conversation, when we were saying goodnight or I was saying goodbye, I would say like I love you, like really a bit soft and kind of awkward. And the first times there just came no answer from my dad. I wasn't even sure that he heard it. But the last few times he acknowledged it. He was like, okay. I didn't get anything back from him, which is also totally fine. And this would maybe be the fourth step. After the third step is to accept that even though you say it, you won't necessarily get an answer back. And I was ready for it. I didn't want to have any regrets of not saying that I I love you. And so I went in with the expectation that I wasn't going to get it back. And that's fine. He acknowledged it and he gave me a smile. That is a step in the right direction, also of who I want to become. If you stay till the end, thank you very much for watching, and I hope this helps you as well.